Every man reaches a point where standing still starts to feel like sinking. The past has been faced. The pain has been named. Now it's time to move. This episode is about becoming a man in motion, not just existing, but evolving. Not chasing validation, but walking in value. See, manhood isn't about power. It's about purpose. It's not about control. It's about character. So let's talk about what it means to live with integrity, intention, and forward momentum. Because healing without movement is just a pause. Welcome back to Qwick Talks, Season 2, Episode 3, Man in Motion. When I say man in motion, what does that mean to you? I'm not talking about staying busy. I'm talking about living your life with direction, with purpose. Too many men mistake activity for progress. They're moving, but they're moving in circles, doing the same exact thing, the same exact way, and standing in the exact same situations. They're loud, boisterous even, but they're saying nothing of value. They work hard, but they're building nothing for the future. When I say a man in motion, that means that man is living with purpose. Everything he does is carefully thought out. It's planned. He sacrificed his now for the future. Being in motion means your energy is aligned with your values. It means your actions reflect your standards. It's waking up every day with a quiet understanding. Today, I'm building something my future self will thank me for. What is the difference between a man of purpose and value and success and your everyday man? I'll tell you. It's simply discipline. That word carries so much weight. Many of us have ideas, we have goals, but very few of us have the discipline to bring those goals into reality. Discipline is the difference between wanting and becoming. Most men know what they want. Few have the discipline enough to earn it. Discipline means you keep your promise to yourself even when no one's watching. It says no to shortcuts. It's showing up when you're tired, praying when you're unsure, and focusing when distractions whisper your name. Let's be real. It's easy to post motivations, affirmations, but it's hard to live them daily. But a man who masters discipline, he also masters the world. A man without discipline is like a car without steering. Powerful, but destined to crash. There are two main pillars to becoming a man in motion. As we discussed earlier, we have discipline and now integrity. Integrity is that mirror that keeps you honest. When held up to your face, it reflects back who you really are. Integrity is doing what's right because it's right, not because it's rewarded. It is not loud. It is not boisterous. It is quiet. It is silent. To know if you have integrity, ask yourself these simple questions. Do I tell the truth even if it disadvantages me? Do I honor my commitments? Do I treat people fairly even if I have nothing to gain? Think hard, think long, and just be honest with yourself, because if you're not honest, you don't have integrity. So if you cannot answer yes to all three questions, you have work to do. And most of us cannot. And that's fine, because we are a man in motion. We are becoming. We have not become yet. A man of high standards doesn't chase reputation. He builds legacy through consistency and repetition. As we know, no one's perfect. We all have strengths. We all have weaknesses. But what are some common pitfalls that most men, if not all men, fall victim to when they're trying to become a man in motion? What are the pitfalls that hinders discipline and integrity? Let's discuss. There are three. There's a lot of different categories, but they fall upon these three umbrellas. We have ego, we have anger, and we have validation. We'll start with ego. Ego is the killer of network. It's the killer of friendships. It's the killer of relationships. The ego says, I don't need anyone or anything. And as you already know, it is very difficult getting through life not needing someone. We all need someone. In your professional life, if you want to get to the top, you would need a mentor. You'll need someone to take a chance on you. In your personal life, you have to curtail that ego in order to make friends. No one wants to be friends with a person who think they're better than everyone they meet. Control your ego, young man, old man, men in general. Control your ego. The next is anger. As we talked about in the previous episode about emotional control. Men have it really difficult when it comes down to expressing our emotions because we're taught that we only really have a few of them. Usually anger, usually stoicism, and we can be sad, but don't cry. Those are usually heaped upon men. But I'm telling you that it is important to explore your entire emotional range. Why? Because if you do not explore it, you can't control it. And to me, one of the hallmarks of a fully realized man is emotional control. And the destroyer of anything that you build is the emotion anger. If a man cannot control his anger, he usually self-destructs. He fights, he argues, he says mean and unruly things, and that can lead to the degradation of all that he has built. So it is important to control your emotion. Lastly, validation. Now, this one is the one that everyone looks for, whether it's YouTubers like myself, people in your personal life, people on TikTok, at work, kids to their parents. We all need some form of validation. But to seek it out continuously, to do what is necessary to get it, it can leave you a slave to the opinions of others. And no one wants to be a slave to anything. When you are a man in motion, a man that has purpose, a man who is disciplined, a man who has integrity, the validation will come. The Bible says faith without work is dead, but your works is what we're looking for. If you're putting in the work, someone or somebody will eventually notice. But remember, integrity is not doing something to get validation. It's doing it because it's right. When you have purpose, you're doing it because that's what you want to do. And trust me, people will see it. Think about this. There was someone in the world one day that took small square shaped pieces of paper with adhesives at the top. They thought about that as an idea, and then they packaged it, presented it, and now we all use Post-it notes. Think about that. Post-it notes. Someone literally thought of square size pieces of colored paper with adhesives to write down small little ditties and notes on. And now that person is probably a multi-billionaire at this point. So I'm pretty sure when they were doing that, it was just for their own benefit, and then it grew. So keep on moving with purpose and integrity, and stay clear of the pitfalls of ego, anger, and validation. So if we have pitfalls, then we must have what I call mountain peaks or mountaintops. And there's 5 of them that I believe that every man of standard, or man of high moral standard, or as they call it nowadays, a man of high value should have. And pardon me, because I have my notes, I wrote them down. We have consistency. It's showing up the same way, whether in public or private. Consistency builds repetition. It makes repetition easy. You don't have to think about it. It becomes second nature. Then you have accountability. It's admitting when you're wrong without trying to justify it. That's an issue that a lot of us have. It's always, well, I did do it, but accountability is saying, I did it. I'm sorry. I'm ready to face the consequences. Consistency, accountability. The third is emotional control. We spoke about that earlier. A man who does not have control over his emotions is subject to be puppeted by anyone who can trigger those emotions. It is very important to control thy own emotions, because when you have that emotional control, nothing and no one can put you off your path. Feel everything, but master your response. Leadership through service. True leaders do not dominate. They do not brag. They do not hinder. They actually elevate. They mentor. They push their employees, their staff, their mentees to their higher purpose, to their best form of themselves. That's what real leadership is. If you are trying to become a leader or a person of high economic value just so you can brag or stun on someone, 9 times out of 10, you won't be successful. And if you are successful, it won't last very long because, again, most people's wealth, most of the economic industry relies on some form of customer service. And if no one likes you, no one will support what you are putting out. And you would then lose all of that hard work. And the 5th thing is purpose over pleasure. You heard me right. Purpose over pleasure. So all those young men and, young boys that are running after these young women, these young ladies, I want you to pump your brakes. You have to first build yourself to a point where you don't have to necessarily chase or run after them. They will see the value in you and they'll come to you. Contrary to popular belief, women don't like chasing, but they do like things that seem beneficial to them. Do you think Chris Brown is chasing anybody? Do you think Elon Musk, no offense to him, but he's successful, and thus it's easy for him to gain the affection of women. Even if it's for money, it doesn't really matter. He gained their affection because he's successful. So instead of chasing and being distracted, running after the affections of young women and women in general, focus on yourself, put all that attention on the task at hand, which is getting to the level of success you want to be. Remember, you're a man in emotion, but you're also a man in focus. It's very important. One thing that can help you on your journey of becoming a man in motion is to build a community of supporters around you. Women are the queens of building community. They have that sister circle, and they get together and they will motivate each other, and they will achieve great things. Men, on the other hand, we tend to not have that same thing on our side. Yeah, you have it in little small enclaves, but we need to start building a brotherhood, a community for men to motivate each other, to restore positive masculinity, to push each other to the highest versions of ourselves. No man is built to walk alone. Isolation is where weakness multiplies. They say iron sharpens iron. What that means is, show me your friends, and I'll show you where you'll become. Get men that are also on the journey to become men of purpose, men of value. Find men who want to be better than their predecessors, who want to be better than they were yesterday. If you are the strongest man in your group, find another group. I know you hear terms like alpha and giga chad and all that good stuff, but humans are not like animals. They can be an alpha whatever, alpha dog, alpha whatever, but humanity, we don't have an alpha. Because alpha means one, right? Alpha is the top dog. How are there 2 million alphas out there? That doesn't make any sense. So stop trying to be, I'm alpha, I want to beat my chest. Because the thing about being an alpha is you put a target on your back because those betas under you will try to bring you down. And that is not community, and that is not brotherhood. Brotherhood is, oh man, go for that CEO position, but we got your back, man. We rooting for you. They pour into you the strength necessary to get to the top of that heap. But they also hold you accountable to the things you say and do. They do not nurture your failures. They go to the drawing board and try to figure out how to avoid them. You don't need yes men. You need men who can help you get to wherever your value, wherever your goal is. Are you moving with purpose or just motion? Are you leading with discipline or drifting with distraction? In order for you to become a man in motion, you have to start small. Wake up earlier. Set one goal and actually finish it. Call that mentor. Find a man within your circle that you look up to, that you see as a man that you would love to be one day, and ask him, would you be my mentor? If you don't have a man like that, I am available to mentor. I can do it via phone, email, we can text. I don't care. I'm relatively young. I'm 37 years old. However, I have accomplished a lot of things in my life, and I'm still becoming. I have not become the man I would like to be either, but I have hit certain milestones in my life that I'm very, very proud of. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to start moving in the right direction. I don't want you guys to rush anything. In today's era where you hop on TikTok, you hop online, you see young people or even older people like with lavish lives, cars, money, women, all that good stuff. And you just want to get to that as quickly as possible. But rushing through to get to a level that you see other people obtain, you miss critical steps. First and foremost, you don't know what they had to do in order to get to that level. You don't know what they had to sacrifice, because there is a sacrifice. In business, we have something called opportunity cost. So the energy you spend doing this, you can't do this. So all that time you spend building yourself up, you're going to miss the parties. You're going to miss the fun nights with your friends. You can have those if you budget for them, because budgeting is more than just your money. It's also budgeting your time. So you may have to skip out on Dante's birthday. You may have to miss that boys trip or that pool party because you have to study to get that degree that you need in order to get to that next promotional step. Or you may have to, skip that out of the country trip with your friends because you're trying to save in order to pay off your car. All that stuff is important. The world does not need louder men. It needs men who move with purpose. Men who protect peace, honor promises, walk in truth. Being a man in motion means your steps are guided by vision, not validation. You no longer are reactionary in life. You're directing it. So today, take the first step, because a man standing still can only dream, but a man in motion can become everything he's meant to be. I'm your host, Quentin Wimberly. This was Qwick Talks. A man in motion doesn't chase validation. He chases purpose. He builds, he leads, he loves with clarity. He lives with standards. And every day, he steps closer to the man he was always called to be.